Amendment 14, Section 3, the disqualification clause that would have saved us from this reality. Why didn't the Democratic Party challenge with it? It seems that we know the answer now. It seems that the Democratic Party, as a collective, because we know there's individuals who disagree with this, but as a collective, who let this? Nancy Pelosi? I don't know. However, as a collective, they have convinced themselves that their job was to legislate. It was to do the peaceful transfer of power. Their job wasn't to defend the Constitution. That job is on the courts. Their job isn't to challenge that. Their job is just to legislate. Their job is just to legislate. Their job is not to defend the Constitution. Do you understand what I'm saying? Historically, elected members have understood their role as defenders of rights, as defenders of the people. Yet our American Congress, particularly our progressive opposition, refused that notion, instead choosing the legacy of cowardice, saying, hey, it's actually not our job to defend the Constitution. It is our job to legislate. So we're going to peacefully transfer the power into a tyranny because it is not our job, okay? Maybe there was threats behind them saying, hey, either you say that or something's going to happen to you, but either or. We have cowards. We have cowards in our party, and that's why they've been silent. And in a way, you can see why there's rules and regulations that would make them think as such. However, it puts into question their thinking that they're just there to legislate, not to fight for the people. But the Republican side has shown that they are there to fight for their agenda, not just to legislate. So what they're doing is they're virtuous, right? They don't want to remove their integrity, even if that means transitioning into an American dictatorship, into an American tyranny, and only to protect their life, only to protect themselves. And that makes me incredibly angry because it positions that the people that we trusted with our rights are just sitting by as they knew that there would be a transition into an America where we no longer have control over those rights because he's going to position loyalists throughout the agencies, throughout the courts that will help him to that end goal. They knew this, but chose against it because they're not there to defend the Constitution. They're there to legislate, and their only duty is to legislate through the Constitution, not to challenge it. That is the courts. I need you to understand what kind of party we have, and I know there's individuals who are great. AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Bernie Sanders, Chris Murphy. I'm not going to say Jamie Raskin because I read his book and he loves decorum. He loves romanticizing bipartisanship, and I know he's one of the reasons why we're here. I cannot prove it, but as a constitutional attorney, it only makes sense that he would have given some advice. It could be possible that he gave the good advice and Nancy Pelosi said no. So who knows? The point is that as a collective, they're terrible. As a collective, they failed us. And what I've come to realize through having conversations with actual Democrats, with actual progressives, is that the representation of what they bring to the Democratic Party and the Democratic leadership, that is misaligned to what the people, the Democrats as voters actually want, or what the Democrats as voters actually are. And that's a problem. And I know that's not a problem for right now because we have a lot in our plate and they're our only vehicle. However, I need you to understand that they will not save us because they chose to save themselves. They chose weaponized incompetence. They chose an excuse. We're here to legislate. We're not here to defend the Constitution. That's the job of the courts. And if that doesn't make you mad, if that doesn't make you wake up to the fact that they're not going to fix it, then I don't know what does. Because they're saying it out loud. What do you want us to do? Right? They're there to legislate and they don't have the numbers. They've been telling us this. And we're like, yes, you can. We voted you in. And we did. We did. However, they're pursuing weaponized incompetence. And because of that, they're acting like everything's normal. They're voting for those cabinet choices, right? Because they themselves know that they failed to uphold and defend the Constitution because they only chose that their job isn't to defend, it's to legislate. The job to defend is of the courts, and I guess of us because they'd rather us shed some blood than themselves. Think about that.